Hey guys, it's Bree. Today I wanted to show you how I make these altered playing cards that are super cute for your junk journals or in your planner or regular journal, whatever you want. They're a great size, a great thickness because they're already, playing card thickness, which is like cardstock, sometimes a little bit heavier, and then they work really well. They're just a great size for putting in like Polaroid zip or Canon IV photos. So this is what mine look like. This is just what these ones look like. I will make the next ones less grungy, vintagey. I just was having fun with that, but usually my planners are a little bit more colorful. Usually my journals are a little bit more colorful than this. So this time I'm going to do them a little bit different. But start off, I have these vintage cards that I got at an antique store like down the road from my house. And I'm going to come in and put down a light layer of gesso so that I can see the stuff that I put on it more clearly. Plus, since these are a little bit slippery, it'll make the mediums that I'm going to use, which I'll show you in a minute, but it'll make them all stick better to have a little bit more grit or tooth to your cards, less glossy. So first, and I only do this side. I like to keep this side free because it's fun for me to know what deck it came from, and this also happens to say, a thank you from Francis Heimer, your milk and cream hauler for Brownsdale Creamery, Grand Meadow, Minnesota. So I like to keep that part free, but I mean, look, these are definitely old. Like, look at that. That's absurd. I wish it had a date on them. So, okay, go in here. I have a little tiny bit of gesso here. I bought a big tub of it. I keep it in this little jar, and then I can just open it. I don't like to keep my gesso open because I don't want it to dry out. So this way I can only just do a little at a time. I mean, like, expose a little at a time. Not sure if I'm making any sense at all. So I just do a tiny light layer. I don't want to do it too thick because I do like to be able to see through, see that it was a card. And it looks thicker now than it will when it dries too, which helps. So they don't need to be like perfect. You can skip spots. You can do it like very little amounts of gesso if you want, or you can, it doesn't matter if you get splotches on the back or if you cover it perfectly. It really doesn't matter. So I usually do them in like 6 or 8 at a time. And then at the end, I'll go back to the first one I did and like use this nearly dry brush now to wipe whatever was on there off. Maybe I'll just do it on here. Just so it doesn't look so perfect. I don't want it to be perfectly white. Like, I want to be able to see that it was a playing card at one point. Okay, so now I'm all gross. And that's what baby wipes are for. Okay. So let me put this away real quick. That's literally all I do for the gesso part. I do very, very little because it's not something I'm trying to cover up, obviously. Okay, so I'm actually just going to set these aside to dry and pull out the ones that I did right before the video. These are the ones that I did very, very soon before this video. They dried in maybe like 10 minutes, so that's really nice. You know what, I'm actually going to slide this underneath. Keep some scrap papers around because when you do the stenciling and stuff, sometimes it goes off and I just don't want to make a huge mess of my cutting mat. Okay, so I'm just going to do them in 2 groups of 3. So I do, I'll add ink to them, I'll do stamping, stenciling. When I say add ink, I mean around the edges. I could have said that. But I'll do stenciling and stamping, and then I'll add in, these are little bits of collage paper that have cute little sayings on them, or I'll do some vintage stamps on them, kind of whatever I want. There's like a million options here, but just do whatever sounds fun. So let me grab some pretty inks and we'll start with that. My 2 absolute favorites distress oxides right now are the Broken China, it's a blue, and the Mowed Lawn green one. They're just so pretty. And then I get the black soot one because I usually add a little bit of black soot accent to whatever color I'm doing. It like dulls it just barely. And then I just grabbed a couple things I might want. So let me put that back. That's the wrong one. I have one brush. These are just those. Okay, what are these even for? I don't remember the original purpose of these, but I use them for inking, and I got them on Amazon. And I have one, which is this one right here, that I use when I'm doing multiple colors and black. And so all I do, I have some that are strictly for one color, and I don't want to get, you know, mix those with something else. But this is when I'm using multiple colors, and in between, I'll just take one of these. It's just this water wipes here. I will take one of these and just set it here, and so I can do like a quick wash off, so that it's not not overpowering. Like if I do some black first, then go into color, and then you can't even see the color. So I'll do these ones will be blue, and then I'll do green for the next three. So just rub it in the ink there, and I usually start around the edges, and I will go in with the adding more to it and stuff after, because this helps me like have some time to think about what I want to do for them. So let's start with making each one. Get a little bit of blue, and a lot of times when I'm doing a color around the edge, I'll use that same color for the stencil in between, just to kind of tie it all together. It's just such a pretty color. I don't know where that name comes from though, Broken China, but it's very pretty. So then I just do a quick wipe there, and then I do the black, and you can't see from there obviously, but I'm rubbing it so much lighter than I rubbed the blue, and I'm just going to touch it gently because I don't want it to cover the blue, and I don't want it to have black edges really. I just want it to have a little bit, like see, it's just a tiny little bit of black there. That's what I want, just for a little bit more dimension, but not to overpower. This black soot is a beautiful, perfect black though. I was using like my black VersaFine pad, this one right here actually, for the black, and that works perfectly too. The only reason I bought the black soot is because I was getting something from Joann Fabrics online, and they had this deal, it was only a few weeks ago, where these full-size ink pads were $2.99, and that's down from the like $5.99, $6.99, whatever they normally are. So I was pretty excited about that. Okay, so before I do, I'm trying to think. I'll do stenciling last. So first I'm going to add some, you know what, let me ink these three so I can keep this a little bit easier to follow. If I'm all over the place like I am in real life, then I think I'm just going to confuse everyone. So I'll get some of that black off, and then go in with the green. It's just such a pretty bright green too. And I don't care that there's going to be a little bit of Broken China on this brush, because if it shows up, so what? It's going to be pretty. Honestly, I think that any two colors could end up looking really good together on here, so it's just supposed to be different. So these ones would be more for like my bohemian style journals, like just the really colorful, pretty fabrics and all of that. Brush it off a little. Okay, so done with that. I don't want too much black left on there. And then I'm just going to come in with the collaging, because I want to do some stamping, and I think that'll look best if I wait till the end. So I could use just regular Mod Podge or my homemade Mod Podge, half glue, half water, or I got this gel medium. I was making a purchase on Ranger Ink and rangerink.com, I guess I should say, and I realized that I didn't have any gel medium, so I bought just a tiny little thing of it, and it lasts for freaking ever. So normally I use my finger, but I'm worried with my nails that I won't be able to get my finger in there well. I'm trying to see if I have a tool that will make that easier. I don't have anything in here like Q-tips or anything. So you know what, I'm gonna use my finger anyway, and then I'll just try to angle it a little bit. I'm not worried about getting my nails messy, but I Oh, yeah, it worked pretty well. I just thought that it was such a small bottle I couldn't get my finger in there. Okay, so I wanted to use these, just collage paper from Dina Wakley, same person who has this, and a little big. Maybe I'll do half a circle on each. You can collage them just like with the masterboards where you use whatever. You can collage them with pieces of like newspaper and stuff, like whatever you want. And then don't worry if you go over, because I'm just trying to get a line up for it. Don't worry if you go over, because at the end we'll just trim around them anyway. So put a little bit of this on. I got a lot on my finger, but it doesn't all go underneath. I'm going to put some more on top. I just want this to be close to the edge. And I want the ink to be underneath this paper, which is why I put that on first around the edge. But I'm also going to want to ink it again at the end. So just if you want your ink to show up really well, you're inking around the edge, you can wait till after or just do it both times. The other half of the circle. When I was getting these collage pieces ready for the playing cards, I didn't realize how big they were. Like I don't know how big I thought a playing card was, but okay. So I'm not gonna do more circles then, because those are huge. But I do want to have some of these stamps on, and the gel medium will hold stamps to it or whatever you want. It does not have to be just thin collage paper. Just a vintage used stamp. Just bought these in bulk, so I have them for everything, and they're super cute. I don't look at what's on them. People in a canoe. Just something to add some visual interest. Ooh, I love this one though. I remember that these ones say Mississippi because it's such a pretty little flower. Price says, nope, it doesn't say. Whatever the state flower of Mississippi is, it's pretty. And just one more. Oh, birds will be pretty. Okay. Alright, done with those, and then I have a couple, let me think if there's something else I wanted to do first. I have a couple collage words, but I'm kind of worried they're going to get covered. So I might just be doing this in stages. So here's the thing, I wanted the stamp to overlay on top of these collage pieces, but I'm going to want the collage words to be on top of everything. So I might have to wait a minute and just let these dry for a second. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to collage on them. Nope, I think we're good. So I'm just gonna let these dry for a second, and then I'll come in for the next step. Okay, so I went and had an apple, and now I'm back, and these are mostly dry. Definitely enough for what we're doing, because I'm not going for perfection. So I like to use background stamps for these so they don't really take over. So I use this music paper one and this little tiny grid. And let me see here. I think I'm going to try to lightly do a black one and see how it shows up. Like I'm barely touching this. Like the second it touches, I lift up again. Let me see. You know what? I'm not going to test it on a card. Too scared. Okay. Oh yeah, that's nice and faint. Okay. Let's do that. I'm going to do these two together. Alright, and then I'll do some of the grid one, and let's do that in color. I'll do some green on the blue cards and blue on the green cards, just to switch it up. So it's like super faint, but really pretty. I'll hold one up in just a second. This one's easier to grab. So I don't know if you can see the green on there, but it's really pretty and really faint. And then without even wiping this off, I'm just going to go into the broken china. Yeah, that's really pretty. And then I'll do a wipe, because then it probably has a little bit of that gel medium on it. And a lot of ink likes to get stuck in the little squares of this grid. So wipe that, wipe my other one. Okay, and then I'll do a little bit of stenciling. I'll do, let me see, I have words on my other one, so let me get a different, I just want them to look a little different, you know. Let's do these, whatever this thing is that I can't remember the name of, this pattern. I mean, it's a like a distressed one, but still, I can't think of the name of that pattern. Okay, so for these ones, I think I'm going to do black and just do it really light. Okay, so I'll start here. I'm just like barely touching this. Oh, that was too faint. I don't think I've ever done it too faint like that before. I'm just, no, it's not going to line up again. I'll stop trying. Okay, I just rub a little bit harder when I apply it. There we go. There we go, that's pretty. Oh, okay. So we have that so far. And I keep avoiding the stamps, but I really shouldn't. I should just be doing it all together. It's like a pretty gray, and I love that it's like mixing. So the gel medium is still a little bit wet, and these inks react really well to water. So it's kind of making like a, let me see if I can get it here, a watercolor effect with the green from the other stamp, and then the stenciling. I have just 2 hands to block the background with this stamp. So I don't know, it's kind of pretty. And then let me do a different pattern. Let me see if I get on the right side. I want the smoother side of the two. Okay. Then I'll do that one. It's kind of coming up actually gray. That's pretty. Then I'll just do one more different stamp. Let's do this one. And I don't worry about wiping these off right away, because since these inks are really good at being at mixing with water, they are really, really washable. And I actually, my daughter was using these once, and I came back and I found that the stencil was purple, just my little homemade ones on Just Plastic, and I just took a wet wipe and it came off immediately. So I don't worry about washing these off right away. I'll wash them when I get time or whatever. Do a little bit darker for this one. Like that. So that one came out really pretty. Okay. So this is as far as I go with that. And then I still need to trim the extra collage paper from the edges. But before I do that, I will just add in these little collage words and phrases that I wanted to add. So I just cut out a bunch of them and figured I could decide whenever. This one's a little light, so I think I'm going to do this one. And okay, so you can use Mod Podge, which I'm pointing to, like you can see it. You can use Mod Podge over here. You can use a gel medium. I like the matte one, so it's not super glossy shiny when it's finished. And then finish drying. Or you can use any kind of liquid glue, like an Elmer's if you wanted, because as long as it's wet, a wet glue, it will do the take the collage paper really well, which is just essentially tissue paper. So I like to do the art glitter glue for really tiny little collage pieces, because there's no point in getting the whole thing wet to put on a tiny little phrase, you know, but this will still work well enough. So I just put some art glitter glue on the back of it, and it's a nice wet glue, but it has a fine tip, so I wouldn't suggest using like a Fabrifix silicone glue because I don't know how that's going to turn out, because kind of the whole point of the collage is to get it a little bit wet so that it's all blends in, sticks together. Actually, I kind of want it on the Queen. The Queen of Diamonds will have the phrase about shenanigans. Okay. And you have plenty of time to move it around since it's just wet. So I did kind of a lot. Of course, I'm messing it up. I used a lot of glue, and I'm not sure how well that was going to show up on video, but just like if you were using a collage medium, like the gel medium or Mod Podge you would use kind of a lot, I did that for this too, because I want it to be nice and wet so that it can blend in with the background more. I didn't want it to stick out like it was a piece of paper glued on top. I wanted it to be like this more, so it kind of all becomes one. And it was really wet, so it kind of like oozed out the sides, and that's exactly what I want there. So let me see here. This one's cute. You know what? Since this one's like, you can't tell maybe, but it's half the thickness of the last one I did. So I'm actually going to just make a strip of glue and then put this on. Or a little like zigzaggy strip. And again, it's going to dry clear, so it doesn't matter if there's too much for your area, or for your like the area of the piece of collage you're trying to put on. See, it worked out perfectly actually. And then wipe with your fingers so there's no like globs that are going to dry hard like that. And then I just always keep something nearby to wipe my hands on. Alright. This one's cute. It says Seize Joy. Look at this one here. And of course you can use a tweezer for these little pieces too. That would actually probably work way better than what I'm doing with my fingers that have these long nails on them, but maybe I should clip my nails first. But I don't know. There's a million ways you can do it. You really can't do it wrong. It says be outrageous. That's cute. Okay. And with the way I'm doing it right now, where the inks might still be a little bit wet on here, especially if the ink was on top of the matte gel medium, it might blend even more with this paper here. And so it might get on the top of the paper a little bit and just kind of become a mess, but in a good way, like the way a collage should be. Let me see here. Let me do a little bit of, these are already set to be collaged like as a circle. I don't want all the background paper. I really just want like a little snip of it. Okay. So then I could definitely open up the gel medium again, but I went to the bathroom and washed under my nails really well, and so I'd really like to not do that again. Open it up again. So I'll just put some of this glue here. And I press it on first because if I just start smearing, it's gonna slide around a lot. If you hold one side, if you absolutely have to like slide your finger across it. Okay. And then I'm actually going to take a tiny bit, I just want that to blend in more than it's doing. Like, okay, so here's a good example of what I was trying to say before. Not sure if you can tell the difference, but look how this, the one that's mainly black, I'll call this the black piece of collage, this is the white piece because that's the main color in it, but you see how the black piece of collage like blends in all up here? There's not like a clear line of the collage, and this one is not blended in at all. You can like see the exact outline of it. So that's what happens when you get it nice and wet on top. The decoupage, it makes it blend in better, much better. So I'm actually going to take just a tiny bit, and I'll just have to scrub under my nails again. Usually have to anyway after I craft, so. And then I'll just get this a little bit wetter on top, and then once that dries, it'll be blended in much better, like how this one did. So then I let this dry, and at the end of all of it, I will go around and ink a little bit more probably. So let me see, a good example. Here's a good example. Well, the one I'm holding it's kind of hard to tell because it's black, but I will probably go around and do a little bit more ink on this side where I brought the collage right up to the edge, and so it doesn't, so it's like uniform around the whole thing. But that's essentially it. I will go through for sure because I'm obsessed with these. And let me pick a color. I'll do gold this time. Do these liquid pearls and put a couple drops of liquid pearl on it because these are just so stinking cute. So I did, let me see. I did the actual like pearl color on these ones. These ones I'm going to do gold because I think gold will look really pretty with those colors. And I usually just do like 3 or 4 dots of it all together, and it's just pretty. Dries looking like little pearls. I'm just right now finding the spot I'm putting it is a spot that's a little drier. So maybe where I used matte gel medium before the stenciling, because that'll be like a drier part of the card. Because now it's almost completely dry, that part. If you had a pretty design, like say this flower, I could do, you know, a dot on each petal of the, I'll put a dot at the leaves, and I mean, it doesn't matter, just kind of whatever looks pretty. And then this one I'll do it up the branch that these little birds are standing on. It's hard to tell what is branch and what is that stamp that they put on it. All right, and so these are, well, actually they went down pretty fast. A lot of times you'll see that peak because it's like a liquid. So you'll see like that peak at the top of the dot, but and then as it dries, it'll like, you know, go down a little bit with gravity. But these ones actually went down right away. So it just looks like little tiny gold pearls on each little leaf there. But yeah, just something fun and different for your journals. And if you count all the time it takes to actually do this, it's actually really quick. Do a quick layer of gesso, go do something else. Come back and do, you know, a little bit of the gel medium with your collage, go do something else while that dries, and then come back and do some stamping. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a really quick and very, very easy craft to do. And it can turn like a bunch of useless cards, and you can use regular playing cards too. They don't have to be vintage. I just really like these because I like what's on the back of them. But yeah, they definitely don't have to be vintage. It's super easy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for hanging out with me today and watching that. And let me know if you have any questions. There are other vintage playing card like altering videos, and I will try to link those in the description if I remember, just because people do it so many different ways, and I use these exact things, but other people probably have cooler ideas, you know, of what they can put on them. So I don't know, this is just the way I do it. So all right, that'll be the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.